State Forester and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour, coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studio and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I am Rico. This is 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. If you're watching on the stream, you're wondering, where's Rico? Well, we only have 3 cameras in here, so I figured my face doesn't need to be up there. I'm not that important. And, but if you are watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, thank you for tuning in. Again, this is the Teammates Mentoring Hour. And if you have any questions for our mentors right here, you can text in or call in 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Again, I am Rico. I'm joined by 3 wonderful human beings, 3 teammates, mentors. Jeff Lindquist. Jeff, can you say hello?
Hello.
And get pull the mic a little closer to you. Don't be afraid. You got to get right up on there so we can hear you.
All
so
right.
we got Jeff Lindquist, Reed McConnell.
Hi there.
Just let me know if I'm saying the names right or if I'm saying them wrong. Don't be afraid. Call me out. It's okay. I'm used to it. And Jim Bennett.
Yep. Hi, Rico.
All right. So Jeff, Reed, Jim, welcome in. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to stop by a radio station and do a radio show to talk about your wonderful experiences as teammates. And we'll go around the table and we'll kind of talk about, introduce ourselves and let the people know exactly who you are. I guess we'll start with Jeff.
Sure. Thanks, Rico. My name is Jeff Lindquist. I've been doing teammates. We were talking a little bit earlier I'm on my 18th year now. So I've had 2 different teammates. Both of my teammates that I've worked with, I took them from 4th grade till they graduated in high school. It's been a great experience. The biggest thing at the beginning was, did I have enough time? Got plenty of time to do it. So there's no excuses for not being a teammate. It's great.
Wow, Reed?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is my 6th year as a part of teammates, and I'm on my 3rd match. So I've tended to lean towards the high school students. So something where my wife was a high school teacher, and she came home from one of their events one day and shared how there was a teammates individual who came in and said that there were hundreds of students waiting for matches. And I said, you know what? I don't know, at that point in my career, what it's going to look like if I'm still going to be in the same area, the same space. And I said, you know what, though, I can make a few year dedication. I can make this work. I can try this out and do. And joined in and I've loved the experience. So I'm on my 3rd match and just have had an incredible experience and an incredible time with it.
Hey, Jim?
Yeah, I'm on my 5th year mentoring. I'm also the 5th year being the coordinator of Teammates of Lincoln as well. So when I started 5 years ago, I took on a match, and then I have 2 matches that are both juniors at 2 different high schools here in town.
Oh, wow. So I just have a question, and then Reed kind of explained his, but how did you guys get started with teammates? What was the experience like, first, getting introduced to it and then getting your first match? How I don't know if intimidating is the right word. I guess it might be the right word. Intimidating was it to meet your match for the first time before getting to know them, and then having, especially for you, the long outstanding relationship with them.
When I first started, a girl at work that I was working with said, "Hey, Jeff, I think you'd be a really good teammate, and why don't you try it?" And at that time, I was like, I've got too many things going on. I don't have enough time to do it. It's really not, I'm kind of out of my comfort zone. She said, "No, you're going to do it and you're going to have fun doing it." And I'm like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it. So I eventually got matched up. And at that time when I was working, I said, okay, what location can I go to? And I worked it to say I'm over at Morley Elementary, Lux Middle School, kind of on the east side of town. So at that time I said, what's the best route to meet with my student and as close to work. So when I met up with him, he was a shy kid. He didn't say a whole lot. Matter of fact, when I met with him, most of the times we would play some computer games and do different things on there at school. And I kept asking myself, am I making a difference? Mm-hmm. And that was my biggest issue was I'm spending an hour of my time going over, helping with this kid, sitting there, hanging out. And I'll never forget, because he was in 4th grade, and one day he said, "Hey, thanks for coming." And at that point in time, I was like, I am making a difference in this kid's life. Previously, like I said, there wasn't that much connection. But of course, when you got a 4th grader, they don't speak a whole lot. He was pretty shy, but eventually, we worked on different things and became good friends, and throughout the whole process. So, like I said, it takes time, but it's a great process and a great program to help these kids that maybe don't have what we have, as far as some of the either on a parent life, maybe they're with a single family home or whatever. There's some things that you can work with them, and just showing up and being there. And that's at the end of the day, when they say, "Hey, thanks for coming," that really solidified my relationship with him, and knew that I was doing the right thing.
What is it like to, watch this kid grow up? Like, I don't know the feeling, but maybe it feels like watching them grow up. It feels as if, you're a massive part of their life. What is it like to since you were with them from 4th grade through high school, what was it like to watch them, go through everything, and you're talking to them for an hour a day, learning everything about them? How did that feel to just be there with them?
Well, my current teammate that I have currently down at Lincoln High, he's a senior. And so I've really developed with him. We play basketball, we play football. That's what we pretty much do during our hour that we're together. And to see him grow from a very shy child to an outgoing student now that plays football, that plays basketball, that plays track, you become part of that person, and watching them grow. It's similar to, I've got 2 kids. And so I always relate back. They're younger. One's younger, one's older. But I always, when I'm with my teammate, I'm thinking, okay, what's going on at school that maybe I can take back home with me and talk to my kids about? It's great because you get to be involved in the school system. You get to meet with teachers, the coordinator, potentially the principal, see what's going on in their lives. So to see him grow out of his shell that was real quiet to become a young man that now he's looking at maybe going to college here next year. And you just look back, I think I get more out of it than probably he does, which I think most you guys would probably say the same thing too.
Absolutely.
On that. And his freshman year, he got cut from basketball. I don't know who took it harder, me or him, because I wanted to see him. He, like I said, we did that all the time. We'd shoot hoops and play basketball. And for him to get cut that year, I felt so bad for him. So the following year, he's like, "Nope, I'm going to go out for basketball." And I go, "You bet you are." I said, "You're a good basketball player, and you've got the potential to make the team." And we were talking a little bit earlier, the assistant athletic director down there, Rich Bolin, did a great job with my teammate and saying, "You're going to do it, and let's make the team." And sure enough, he made it. When the one time after the practices and the tryouts were, I went down and met with him, and I'm like, "Hey, so you're walking on eggshells because you're not sure what happened." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I made it. I made the team." So now he's contributing. So it's just great to see those students and those kids that are in the teammates program evolve and become young men, young women. And I think that all of us would say, as far as mentors, that we're doing a great job getting these people to the next level. And hopefully, 5 years, 10 years down the road, when they look back on it and say that having a mentor was one of the best things I could ever do, because I know that, like I said, I get way more out of it. It's like a great day. It's like going to recess. So we're going to go play basketball and get to go play football for an hour. So it's great to see these kids grow and develop into young adults that hopefully, maybe they're having some issues with school or whatever it may be, that there are different reasons why they're all in the teammates program. But the ultimate goal is to make and maybe break that cycle, that maybe they had a rough childhood or something. And now when they get to be an adult, they're doing a lot more good and breaking that cycle of maybe some different things that, as Coach Osborne always says, whenever I hear him talk, he always talks about what's one of our biggest issues in society today. It's the family structure
Mhm.
and single parents and, kids growing up without maybe males in their lives and those types of things. So for me, it was an opportunity to say, I've got 2 kids at home that I'm going to raise, and what can I do else to make the world a better place? What can I do to make my teammate, when he gets to be an adult, look back and say, hey, that was a great opportunity? And I think that's what Teammates program does. It helps, puts a vision and puts a future for these kids.
Yeah. Reed, Jim, don't be afraid to hop in whenever you guys want.
Yeah, I
mean,
was
it's-
kind of
it's all good.
taking the mic there.
It's
I
all
don't
good.
know,
I
man.
mean,
I'm like,
you know,
I'm gonna
back
take your
to
job, Rico.
I mean, look, if you want to come in here and just talk for a couple hours, I'm good with it. I'm sure you'd be more than welcome.
That's what I signed up for. I was like, I want to hear his story. Let me.
Yeah,
be
let me
the
come in here
present.
and just listen to him real quick. I'd be fine with that. And I guess, back to the first question, I guess I asked you guys the same thing: is how did you get started, and how was it meeting your mentor or your mentee for the first time?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm on my third pairing, and my first one, it didn't actually work out. It was the stuff that we tried to meet up and do. They had a former mentor pairing, but those first kind of things, they had troubles with school attendance, and so it's that tough thing that we walked in. We didn't really have a relationship. We started scheduled for second period of the day, and I'd show up, and I'd wait. And it's like, is he going to show up today? And those things, and what those things. But that's where I was able to say, you know what, this maybe isn't that right. That right meeting, that right pairing, that right thing. So it's a little bit of a like, okay, what does that look like? And they said, okay, this pairing didn't work out. Would you like to try another? I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely want to try this again, because again, it's the thing too, that as a mentor, you're just looking to show up and be there for them. This isn't something that you go, oh, I'm going to be that, have to be that parental figure. I have to be that person after this thing. It's like, if I can just show up and be present for them and do those different things. And, if for that mentee, that wasn't that right pairing at that right time, I'm not that right thing, that's okay. I'm not going to take that person. I'm going to try this again. Got that second pairing. And it was an entirely different connection. Is that stuff to say, hey, this one, we were just able to chat and connect and do, and they love doing puzzles. So, we'd come in, and every week it's going there and finding that puzzle. We try big puzzles, small puzzles, connect and do. And it's just, that's how we'd open up with our chat and our conversation, that I'd be hearing about them, or they might have, stuff going on at home, but it's the celebrations, the challenges, the struggles, and all that stuff. And, initially when they were kind of talking that, for a lot of different students, they all have to say that they want to be a part of this. It's never forced on a student. It's never something to say, hey, you know what, you have this challenge thing, we're gonna put you in a teammate situation. It's opened up to them to say, we have an opportunity. Is this something you'd like to explore? Is this something you'd like to do? And so that's the great thing, is that if that student isn't feeling it, if they aren't saying, hey, this is this, adding fulfillment for me, those things, they can try another pairing. They can find that new opportunity. But with this student, it was great because we were just able to connect and do. And so I was able to stick with them through graduation. And that was during some of the early stages of pandemic. And so we had to take a little bit of a break because we didn't know what it looked like to keep on some of those mentor pairing, but I could still keep on reaching out and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, hoping things are going well. And we're able to kind of reconnect after getting some of that stuff figured out. But, I just didn't realize how important some of the mentorships have been in my life. Those things that if I didn't have those people for me, how hard that'd be. And it's like just simply being there for those students. And again, so and a new pairing that I've been with them for a year. And again, it was, started off just over Zoom. And so what does this look like to have that? It's hard to, make a connection to say, hey, we're going to be this, personal, deep opportunity, but it was so fantastic. And I laughed too. You talk about playing the basketball, the football, the things like that. We got to first meet in person, wasn't over the summer event at the school. And I showed up and I was in my work clothes. And we played basketball. And that's when I learned that I need to make sure that I have an opportunity that's not just my work clothes to go and play some basketball with my mentee. But it's one of those things that you don't really know what you're walking into, but just having that open mind. And the great thing is, it's not like you have to be that teacher, that father, that all those things. You just got to show up and just, let them know that you're there and you care about them, and, it's whatever they want to make out of that experience as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jim, how did you get started in your first meeting? And
well, yeah. So you mentioned that idea of maybe being a little intimidated by it, or a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for people to understand, is that's probably pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing youth work out of college. 1993, got my first job working with kids in a psychiatric hospital. Moved to the juvenile detention center here in town, got into juvenile justice, went to the administrative office of probation, worked with kids for 25 years, took this job at Teammates. And I said, give me someone who'd be tough to match. I just thought, my background, I want to, and they matched me with a young man. And first day I found myself with butterflies in my stomach. And I've been working with, I worked with thousands of kids in my lifetime. But it's like the reality of going and creating a relationship with a young man is different than doing youth work or working in the schools. This is a potential lifelong friendship. And so I found myself a little bit nervous, and I wasn't sure what to do with that kind of feeling. Well, went, met with him, liked him right off the bat. Wicked funny, just really funny, a biting funny though. He's a tough kid. He's a good kid. Really smart, hates school. And that's where he was struggling. He just doesn't like going to school. And that's where that's why people identified him as he just kind of would like to have another adult in his life to kind of talk through that with him. And so we started talking and getting to know each other, and had some good and bad moments. And what I learned about him was that he doesn't know how to like give in a conversation, like nod or smile or just listens. And so you don't know what he's thinking. And that was hard, because sometimes I'd leave and be like, that was great. And sometimes I'd leave him and go, what just happened there? I'm not sure what that was. Yeah. Right. But we worked through it. And then I did the same thing that you kind of did. Does he want me to be there? Is he getting anything out of it? And I started, my brain, my youth work brain said, I know this works. This works. It works pretty darn almost all the time. It just does. But my heart was saying, wouldn't it be terrible if he didn't want me to be here and I'm showing up? And so I asked the facilitator, which is what we want everyone to do. Every school's got a facilitator that helps you out. You can always call our office too. There's lots of people around to help, and I hope you guys feel the same. And I asked her, I said, what does he want me to be here? She's like, he's talking about you, man. I think you're doing just fine. So we just let it ride. And sure enough, it was at the end of the school year, in a letter he wrote to me. He wrote a letter and said, thanks for being my teammate. But then there was a PS on it and said, you better be my teammate again next year.
That's awesome.
Right. So that's when I knew. It's like, oh, thanks, man. Thanks for doing that for me. Cause I probably didn't need it. I probably would have been fine, and we would have, but now we're going on 5 years, and it's such a different relationship than it was, 5 years ago. It's just a way different experience. He's way more mature. We sit down and we talk and we converse and talk about, he's now thinking about college. And I'm telling you, 5 years ago, wow, that wasn't a thing. All right. So that's not, he's also thinking about, maybe I should be a plumber. And he's like talking about these, what's going to happen in 2 years from now.
Just letting you in on the little intricacies of his life.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that's extremely fulfilling. And whenever you go, and the more that your mentees open up to you, I'm sure that makes you feel a lot better inside, that everything is working out.
Right.
So you mentioned, going to meet your mentee in your work clothes. How often do your mentees, maybe the first couple of times that they meet up with you, they ask you about, what you do for a job, and how, I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this question. How often do they ask you about your job, and like how interested are they most of the time? That's, for all three of you, yes.
Yeah, I'd say for mine, it was the stuff. It was just the, initial just get to know you. But I also found, that was part of the initial stuff was we had Zoom, so we couldn't, distract with some of the activities. I think that is different for that first time in that way, versus with some of my previous ones, there was a lot of that, like, okay, what are we going to be doing? How are we going to be spending our time together and do that? It's a lot of the, trying to probe as to like, what can we do that you're going to enjoy this, that you don't just want to be there, escape out of class. You do want to have this to be a relationship, this kind of connection and doing and stuff. So I think it's great to be able to understand. And that's one of the things that I love about the Teammates program too, with the pairings, is that they already ask a lot about, what it is that you're interested in, what are some of the things that you do, so they can find a pairing that you're already going to have a connection with. So I think it's just kind of to go, okay, sometimes you have those pre-meetings with, the coordinator to say, hey, you guys already have a little bit of this, shared interest and stuff. So I think definitely making them aware of a lot of stuff you do. But, some of the things that we talk about is even, my teammates really interested in Dungeons and Dragons. And I go, I've never done it. I've never done it before, but I'm really interested. I play video games. I've done these different things. And so actually starting next week, we're going to be starting a campaign that we're just going to go through and do, so I can learn those different things to do. It's the stuff that I enjoyed playing sports in high school, and they're very competitive. I laugh at, they don't just want to play catch. They want to play catch for points. Who is it that can make the most catches? Who can make the better throws and do those different things? And so I love that it's not just that, like, oh, it's not a, career interest thing. Is that's what you want to do? But it's just the, hey, how can we just be, people together? It's that person you say, hey, the same way that you have with your friends, that we can just kind of chat and do, and get to know that. I think it definitely helps that they know about you and what you're interested in. And so you can kind of talk about like those things, but again, it's just showing up and just having that fun time together. That, like you said, sometimes it's that recess, but I love it because it's that recess with a great dialogue, great conversation, and you're moving the needle. That it's not just anybody could show up next week and take my spot playing catch and they'd be just as happy. It's like, no, I know that we're really making that connection and they appreciate when I'm there, and those things that I just really enjoy getting to spend that time with them as well.
And so, good days, bad days, probably easy on the good days, I would guess. But how do you guys handle, if your mentee's having a bad day, you go in there and you can kind of see it on their face, especially if you've been with them for a while, you know them. So how do you handle that? How do you go into that situation and attempt to make it better, or just kind of listen to them, I guess?
Yeah. I'll just take that real quick. What I've found is that early on, it's hard because you're building a relationship, right? So they may not want to talk to you about the bad day. And there was one time in particular, something was going on in school, something with a locker, and they were looking in his locker. I don't know what it was. I still don't know what it was, but he couldn't focus. He just couldn't focus. Mm-hmm. So I just said, hey, why don't I come back again later? Why don't we shoot for tomorrow and just see if we can do it, make this better? And so I did that. I let him have his space but what I found now is, and I think you guys probably feel the same, now he wants to talk about it. Now he wants to process it. Now he trusts me. He trusts me now. And so the relationship is much different. We're in our 5th year. I mean, this is, we probably talk more to them than some of their family members about stuff that they don't talk to family about, mm-hmm. So we're not replacing family. We're not substitute family members. We're caring adults who create relationships, but at the same time, they trust us, and they. So for me, that hasn't been an issue with either of my mentees since probably the first few months of the relationship. But yeah, I mean, some are. I like it every time now. It actually, every time we leave, even if we just have to cut it short for a reason or whatever, it's still a great meeting. Still works good.
Yeah, Jim, I think you make a good point too. It's developing that trust, because we come into a situation where we're a person off the street, and are we going to be there next week, or are we not going to be there? And so I know that's what teammates really wants, that commitment, and they would love to see you go from 3rd or 4th grade through high school. And obviously that doesn't work. My situations have been unique in that, I'm going to get another one through graduation, which is awesome. But I know when my mentee and myself meet, I think both of us, I put work to the side. He puts school to the side. Not so much. I mean, we'll talk about school a little bit here and there, but it's more or less, how can we spend that hour enjoying, conversation, or, playing sports and those types of things that we're doing activity wise. So as far as from bad days, you can tell, I mean, they're kids, they're teenagers, and you kind of have to just work around it with your mentee to say, okay. But the thing that I also enjoy is that I can take, and I don't share any conversations with my family, but they know that I've got a teammate. And matter of fact, they'll see each other on the football field. My son's a junior and my mentee is a senior, and they converse with each other, which is cool. But I don't ever go back and say, well, here's what we were talked about or anything like that. But so occasionally you'll get that conversation going, something that maybe is going on at school, or something that's, you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm a parent and I don't know about half the things that go on in school, which is the case, but at least then I can take it home and say, hey, what's going on, or what is this? And they're like, oh, Dad, come on. you should know that. I'm like, sorry, I don't. But so it's always, like I said, you develop that trust and be able to talk about those things at school with your mentee.
I think that's the great thing too, is that when they are having that trouble someday, that I think that sometimes it's easier for them to talk to you, because you're not the counselor. You're not that person who's trying to solve the problem for them. You're not the teacher that they have that issue with. You're just truly that person off the street that they've developed that relationship with, that they don't have to worry about any judgment. That's a critical part of being their teammate, is that you're not there to fix them. You're not there to be their counselor. You're not there to just things. You're just there to, whatever they need in that moment. And so, like I said, it's the great thing too, is that you're not just sitting at a table for an hour. And sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's that conversation, but oftentimes it's that, what are we doing in that activity? And that's what I found too, is that with my, especially my last teammate, for some of the stuff that, it's when working on that puzzle, there's sometimes that they just needed to have, hey, they got to just focus on a puzzle. They just got to have that time, but it's a little bit of an escape. I need to get out of that situation, and I'm just able to do this thing and have that enjoyable activity. But it's amazing about halfway through that puzzle, sometimes when you're in that meeting and then it cracks open, if they go, oh man, so this is that thing that's kind of bothering me to do. And you're like, okay, I gave you the space for it, that if you want to talk about it today, if you want to wait till next week, whatever that is, but this is just an opportunity to be able to connect and do those things. That the biggest thing is going, I'm not going to make your day worse. There's nothing that I'm going to look to do to say, I'm not going to pressure you to talk about this. I'm not going to force you to change your thing. I'm not going to try and go, oh, but you have to understand it from the other person's side. It's often just to say, hey, I'm here to be as a resource for you. What do you need in this moment? And if that's just being a distraction, I'm happy to be a distraction as well.
Just going to be a soundboard. Just let them talk to you. You just kind of sit there. I'm sure that's happened many times for you guys. But that's going to do it for the first segment of the Teammates Mentoring Hour. When we get back, got some more questions for these guys. Let's see if they can answer them. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Gary & Michael's Clothier's 39th anniversary sale starts this Thursday, October 20th at 10 o'clock sharp. The entire store is reduced 20 to 50% off all new fall inventory. 20 to 50% off on suits, sport coats, sweaters, slacks, sport shirts, outerwear, and shoes. all now reduced. Gary Michaels Clothier is Nebraska's finest men's store, located at Village Gardens, 56th and Pine Lake Road. Sale ends October 29th. You be there.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Another chilly morning, but by this afternoon, we should rebound to a high of around 61. Light southwest winds at around 10. We will see a bit of a mix of sun and clouds later this afternoon. Overnight, mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 37, and the warm-up continues tomorrow with a high of 72. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Teammates Mentoring Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Again, if you guys have any questions for our mentors over here, Jeff, Reed, and Jim, go ahead and send them in. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, or on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We can read your comments on there. Let you guys know if there's anything. Somebody's being mean to me on Twitter or on Twitch and said, no Rico on camera. Maybe things will run smooth now. Well, Caboose, that's not very nice, but things are going pretty smoothly. So I guess I'm fine with it. Whatever. You're not wrong, but it's okay. I was going to ask you, and now, nope, I don't remember my question. So in building the relationship, in knowing that, you know, as you said, sometimes you walk away and you're like, I think this is working. I think I'm gaining trust and we're building a relationship. Outside of that hour that you meet, you know, if your mentee invites you to something outside of that, how does that make you feel? Like when they say, you know, would you come to my football game? Would you come to my baseball game? Would you come to, you know, a speech meet or something else that people are doing in high school? I don't remember what everything's going on in high school anymore. But, you know, when you get invited to that outside of that, how does that feel? And you know, if you could expand on that.
Well, so what I'll just say is that, yeah, that's part of the Teammates model is that if it's happening at a school, so it's a school-based model, all the meetings happen at school, whether it be during the week, during the school day, or if there's extracurriculars they're doing at school, speech, debate, one-act play, baseball, whatever, soccer, whatever they might be doing. And then that's when they can attend and do those kinds of things. Neither of my mentees do anything extracurricular. So they're students and that's it. So I have not had the opportunity to go to school for any other reason than just to see them during the day. So I'll let you guys speak to that.
Yeah, so I recently had the opportunity. My teammate is part of the theater production. They were helping to support. They were doing Spotlight, and so they said, "Hey, I'm having the show." You know, something we talked about is, you know, what's going on with their life. They talked about, you know, the experiences they had with that and the stuff. And they're like, "Well, here are the times if you'd be able to attend and do." And I actually was able to attend. I was able to bring my son, who just entered kindergarten, and able to go to the show and do. And unfortunately, didn't have the opportunity to be able to talk to them afterwards because I had my son with me, who's a kindergarten, didn't quite have the attention span to go beyond that. But it was just a great experience. And I loved too that, you know, afterwards be able to say, "Hey, I'm sorry I wasn't able to catch up afterwards," but it's great being able to see, you know, the show and, you know, be able to share that experience you're talking about. And, you know, then be able to have that pride of like, "Oh, I'm glad you went to that one. You know, the other ones, my life had an issue, or I had this thing that caused the thing, and here's that experience." But I think it helps take that experience to another level too, just because it shows them that you're demonstrating that you care about them. Those things, it's not a requirement. You know, we'd absolutely have a strong rapport relationship, you know, without those things. But it's great, as you said, that, you know, you can tell that they're trying to help bring you into some of the things that they really care about and have you have that level of involvement and that opportunity that you go, okay, when they're inviting me, it isn't that thing either that they go, "Oh, I'm trying to keep this secret from my friends. I don't want someone to, see that this is the stuff. So it's great to be able to have them bring you into that circle of things. And it's awesome to be able to see them demonstrate something that they're passionate about as well.
With my teammates, a lot of times I'll if I tell him that I'm going to come to an event, if it's a basketball game or football game, I want to make sure that he knows that I'm there, because I'll tell him, hey, I'm going to come to your basketball game tonight. Okay. Either see him before or after the game. He gets a big smile on his face and he loves seeing me there. The thing that I try not to do is say, hey, I might come to your game tonight, because then when I don't show up for something that may have popped up or whatever else, that feeling of the commitment of being there for him, I've kind of lowered my expectations. So I always try to do that. Reed, you'd mentioned a comment there where, you said where your teammates kind of, I don't want to say hides, but says, well, I've got a teammate and is not real proud of it. But I think what you find out as far as with the teammates, the mentees, they love having a mentor. And especially when the younger ones are. I remember going to Morley or Pirtle, and we'd go over there and, you'd show up and they'd be like, oh, who's that guy? And that's my teammate, so they're proud of having a mentor. And so then when you go out and you're playing at recess with the kids, next thing you know, you've got 10 other kids running around and you're playing ball with them. And it's just like, you're the Santa Claus, you're just having the best time ever. And so I think then when the mentee then goes back to class, other kids are asking, well, how do you get a mentor? And as Jim can attest, there's plenty of kids out there that need mentors, and especially male mentors. I think especially in today's society, if we can get more male mentors, and I think that's why you've got 3 of us sitting here as far as doing the mentoring and telling you how easy it is and how much fun we get out of it, and more probably out of than what our mentees are getting from it. But like I said, that especially in that elementary group, those kids, they love seeing the mentors walk in the door. And then next thing you know, you're the Pied Piper, and you've got everybody, let's play football, let's play basketball. No, come over here and have a good time. So it's pretty neat. But like I said, as far as that commitment piece of being there for the kids, and that's the trust that we're developing with them.
Well, and it's not even that intensive of a commitment in some senses. Like, we're asking you to meet usually one time a week in school, and it's usually a class period. Sometimes it's a half hour, sometimes it's up to maybe 50 minutes usually is kind of the max. And we don't expect perfection either. There's 35 weeks in a school year. We're shooting for that 24 mark. We know there's going to be times when people are sick, on vacation, can't make it. A school schedule gets mixed up or something where they have a field trip or something, they can't go. Those things happen, but we find that the consistency really doesn't mean perfection. It means 24 of 35. That's what we're shooting for. Anything close to that is still getting huge impact for children and for young adults. And so I think I want people to understand that it's not a grind, and it's a school-based program. So summers, usually you don't meet over the summer. Sometimes we have some that arrange it and we work with them on that. They work with the community learning centers. But other than that, and we're also not asking, I think you both may have said this, you're not there to have answers. You're not there to teach them math, which I think is something people worry about. It's like, do I have to teach them math? You don't, but it's you just have to create a relationship. And it sounds like both of you, and I feel like I'm probably doing it in 3 different ways, and 3 different styles, and that's perfectly fine. That's how it works.
And I think one of the important things too is that, initially doing it, I was, 3 years out of college, doing so. A lot of people are like, oh, when am I going to have the time? And I was thinking about it, and the same thing I experienced today, that it's a thing of you're never going to get more time. You're still going to be limited, no matter where you are in your career, wherever you progress and do. You're always going to be limited on time. And so that's why I think it's also too important just to be able to talk to your employer, to be able to say, is this something that we can do? Because when I talked to my employer about it, they were ecstatic about it. They'd go, yes, I'd love for you to do this. I'd love to have that be explored. I'd love to have more people do. So if you can advocate for this to others, we'd love to get that involved. And I'm going to have 2 teammates who are going to be starting, or 2 coworkers going to be starting again this year to start up some mentoring stuff as well. So it's the stuff too that sometimes it just takes that first step to say, hey, is this something that can work? And you can always make that time available. Again, it's not I'm taking on a second job. It's a 1 hour a week kind of thing, and you're getting out of work oftentimes to be able to do it. that for me, it's, that's that mental break. Like you said, you set work aside during it, but sometimes it's that like, okay, I have these stress, I have these meetings, I have these different things. Cool. I get to kind of leave that behind. I get to hop in my car, drive to school, spend 40 quality minutes together. And then, on the drive back, maybe that's when I can start getting back into that mindset. But absolutely something to be able to check to do. Let a lot of, different organizations may even have programs already set up. But if you say, hey, is this something even allowed? They go, yeah, here's exactly what this looks like for you, and do those things that they're really, again, very low requirements. It's a minimal background check, and the application takes, 5 minutes to do. And it is so easy to get involved. And again, there's hundreds of students waiting for that pairing. And when you find that right connection, it's amazing that impact you're able to have when, again, you're not signing up for life. It's not that thing to say, even the ideal is to get them through graduation. It's not you're not making a blood oath or any sort of promise that way. It's I'm putting forth my best effort to do those things. And if you just get a couple of years with that student, whatever that may look like, you're having an impact during that span of time.
Our average match is 2.8 years. That's average. Now, there's some that follow somebody from third grade. We don't mentor younger than third, but from third grade all the way to a senior. And there's some who can only do it for a year and a half, 2 years. And that's fine. I mean, we shoot for as long a commitment as you can make. We know that the longer you're with somebody, the more impact you can have. And we really push for that. I should say push for it. We encourage that. But life circumstances happen. People move. People change jobs. Young people move. So there's some of those kinds of things that happen, and we roll with the punches. And it's if they have to close, we can close in a way that is beneficial to everybody, and we can keep things moving.
So that's the second segment. In this next one, I'm going to ask you guys, because you guys all kind of mentioned it, the need for male mentors and just more mentors in general. And I want to hear you guys' pitches for, you said that you were going to train some of your coworkers were going to be mentors. I want to hear your guys' best pitches to get more people to sign up to be Teammates Mentors. We'll do that on the next segment of the Teammates Mentoring Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
We're still as busy as we've ever been. Across the country, you may see a small slowdown, but in Lincoln, Nebraska, we're not slowing down.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
Our Southwest Lincoln development is just going great as we keep growing in Southwest Lincoln. Down the road, we'll have a new school, so that's exciting. We also have a new development out in East Lincoln over by Hillcrest Country Club. Just a real neat subdivision because it features trees, great views. If you're concerned about interest rates, many lenders in town offer extended lock periods. So it's worth contacting a lender and asking them about an extended lock. That's a big deal.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
What does continuing education mean to you?
At Southeast Community College, it means helping you advance. Whether that's a class to help you learn a new hobby, get your motorcycle license, or even your GED, SCC can help you take the next step. Financial assistance is available too. Learn more about our continuing ed classes at southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to personal and professional development.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
We have to learn from what's happening right now. Frost waded into this with a formula system that didn't work. Now, there were coaches that were telling me that, but how do you know? How do you know? There was one coach in particular that said, Sipple, I don't know if you know this, but they just hired 2 coaches whose systems will not work in the Big Ten. And I said, oh, give me a break. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right so far. Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Hey, this is Ernest Hausman. As a linebacker from Nebraska, I know how important it is to have a strong defense and a great playbook. If you are looking for a solid team to have your back, check out my friends at Burke Brown Law. Burke and Jackson will work with you to create an individualized strategy to bolster your defense.
Hi, this is Burke. Give us a call at 402-606-1441. With locations in Lincoln and Columbus, we're ready to tackle your needs. Find us online at burkebrownlaw.com.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old. But I am a camping influencer. You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment here on the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. We're having a blast here. It's fantastic. Learning more about each other. It's great. I shared my UNK stories. They're okay.
Some of them maybe not good for the air.
Some of them not. I've already told. Everybody knows already. I've told everybody. It's fine. They know me. They love me. Sometimes. But I asked you guys, or I told the listeners that we would be asking about the need for more male mentors and just mentors in general within teammates. If you guys want to speak on that.
Sure, I'll start off on that. One, I do have to say that my daughter, who's now a junior in college, she wanted to do teammates, so she started doing that last year as well. So I thought that was pretty awesome. You know, here's a junior. You talk about time. Mm-hmm. There's a classic example of somebody
awesome.
That doesn't have time, but she still does it. One of the things I would say, as far as if you're a parent that's raising children, from a selfish standpoint, being a mentor, was that when I picked which schools I wanted to go to, I knew that's where my kids would go. In today's world, it's nice to get into the school systems and know your teachers and know your parent or know the principals and what goes on. Because believe me, when I was raising my kids and they're starting school and I'm like, I have no idea what's taking place in schools, but I had that advantage of being with with my mentees in the school system. So I got that advantage of knowing what's going on in the schools, how they operate, and also meeting that front person at the desk. Every time you walk in, you got to meet with, they buzz you in and everything else. You get that, develop that rapport. So that's one advantage of being a teammate's mentor. The other one, I think, like I said before, I get so much more probably out of it than my mentee. Makes my day. We meet every Thursday at 1:15. So I push my lunch back late. I work late that night too, because I end up, it's about an hour and a half when it's all said and done. But I commit to my teammate to make sure that we're meeting on that Thursday afternoon. So I would say that's a couple different, items as to how you want to get into be a mentor. The other ones, there's several other. Jim and I were talking about this earlier about the original 22 or 23 mentors that they had when Tom Osborne started the program. One of my really good friends, Jason Light, was a mentor of that original group. And I always wondered, I'm like, what's this teammates all about? Well, they started that program back in 91. And then little did I know that, whatever, how many years later we are, 30 years later, that I was going to be a teammate's mentor for 18 years. And so the founding, with Tom Osborne doing that, laid out a great program, and here we are carrying it on 30 years later. That's something to be said about getting people involved in the passion that Coach Osborne has for helping students reach their potential goals.
Yeah. I think the thing for me when kind of talking about people about the opportunity is to think about some of your most pivotal periods in your developmental stages. So when you go back to your high school period or middle school or elementary, how fortunate you may have been if you had a trusting adult that you could, confide in, that you could talk through, that could help provide you some direction, guidance, and support. Just knowing that you could have someone who cares about you and those different things, and how fortunate you were in that scenario. Or if you're unfortunately in the situation that you didn't have that mentor, that guide, or that person, a lot of students are seeking that. A lot of students don't have that opportunity. Again, you're not looking to be that perfect person. None of us are perfect. You don't need to be perfect. That's not on the background check to see is how perfect you are. It's simply saying, can you be there for someone? Can you provide that support? That it's a pretty low barrier, and just to give it a try. Like you said, it's something that most mentors get more out of it than they give in. But there are students out there that need support. They need someone who can just show that they will consistently show up for them. That again, you don't have to be their best friend. You don't need to be that perfect adult in their life. Just someone who can show up for them, and that's something that everybody is capable of doing. And if you think about when you're at the end of your life, you're looking back on those different things and the impact you had, are you going to look back to go, I'm so glad that I was in office all 40 hours of that week during that period of time? Or is this something you could say, you know what, I'm so glad that I took that opportunity, that I did that I was able to be a part of that young person's life, and I was able to be a role model and opportunity for them. That it's amazing how simple it is to have a significant impact in their life and how much that means to them. And just challenge you to say, go out and give it a try. It's so easy to sit back and go, when I have the time, eventually I'll do this. I'd love to do that. I hear it on the radio every week, and eventually I'll do that once I have the time, once I have the opportunity, once I have the right life situation, once I have the right now is the best time to get involved. Right now, there is a student that would be a perfect fit for you and what you can provide for them. So again, we're talking about there's a need for males, there's a need for females, there's a need for any element of it, that if you're someone who can simply show up for someone, that's all that it takes. If you can't make that commitment to show up on a consistent basis, that's the only limiting factor. But if you can say, you know what, I can give this a try, that's my pitch, is just to try. And it's amazing how much you can get out of that experience.
Right. Well, that's what we hear. You hear just what you said multiple times, which is, it's the best hour of my week, and I'm getting more out of this than they are. That we hear that consistently. I also want people to know that it's not, you might feel a little bit of apprehension that first time, but it's not scary. We also say at teammates that if you can play Connect 4, you can play Uno, you're built for mentoring. You're perfect, right? You got all the skills you need. And, my this is a sports radio station. And so It just so happens that both of my mentees like sports, enjoy it. We play basketball. We walk around the school dribbling a basketball, just kind of talking back and forth, gets them thinking about something else, gets them going. But one thing that Coach Osborne said is it's one of the most intimate things you can give somebody. You can make more money. You can donate money, and you can give that money and go make more money and then give more money. But once you give a little bit of your time, you have a limited amount of time from the day you're born. It's one of the most precious gifts you can give somebody is your time. And I'll tell you this, the young people know it, and they know it because they really have come to appreciate the fact that I am consistently coming, and I come every time. I'm not getting paid to come. And frankly, they see everything about, like, they know when I bought a new shirt, they know when I I got new laces in your shoes. They just know, they know everything because they're paying attention, because they value it. And then the last thing to think about is that ripple effect that goes along with mentoring that people talk a lot about. And I know that I'm affecting a young person, and they're affecting me. It's not just the young people that are getting the benefit of this, but I'm affecting potentially his family, their families, maybe their kids, maybe who they choose as a partner in their life. These, and they're affecting my children. They're affecting my children's children and how I parent. And so I think there's some really, it's a really organic, very intimate way to be able to do good things for our community and really help the community. And in the same time, create relationships that will last a lifetime.
Well, again, to that effect too, it doesn't cost $1.
No,
you can't give a gift to your mentee. Your presence is your present to them. So it's that thing that, again, I think I spent $12 because I got a football to have in my car to be able to bring to each time that we're meeting and doing. So I didn't have to stop by the gym each time to pick that up and doing. But it's just great to be able to make that connection. And again, just like you said, whatever it is that you're looking to do, whether it's the Connect Four, the Uno, the puzzles, the football, the basketball, that's all that it takes to be able to be that great mentor.
So, hey, Jimmy made a great point. I reached out to my first teammate's mom the other day because I was like, what's his phone number? He's 28 now. He was a firefighter out in California. Now he's back in Nebraska, and he switched jobs here recently. But to me, that's a success story.
Absolutely.
To reach out and to say, and so I plan to meet with him here in the next couple of months, have lunch or whatever else, because I want to see, like I said, he's 28 now. So he's doing good things.
That's cool.
All right, we've got about a minute left. Just want to ask you guys just a 15-second, something real short. Somebody walks up to you, they know you do teammates. They just say, "Why should I do teammates? What would I get out of this?"
To me, it would be make a difference in somebody else's life, lead them into that next generation, and make a difference.
It's you never feel better about yourself than when you're able to give to others.
I always let people know you would be a perfect mentor because there's a young person for every caring adult in this community. Everyone.
Thank you guys so much. This is like the third time that I've done the Teammates Mentoring Hour, and I'm getting that much closer. I'm gonna do it. I promise you I'm gonna do it. But thank you guys so much for showing up. You guys have been listening to the Teammates Mentoring Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Sign up for Teammates. Make a difference. Thank you. Have a great night.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property